2. How's it going, guys? And welcome to Week 1 Wednesday, or as we like to call it...
Ow!
Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it. You guys know we can't start wow off without Kurt. We are super excited to be here. We're going to be talking about knife mods today, horror stories, success stories, accessories you can buy, good knives for modding, the whole 9 yards. And we got the man himself, Jeremy Siers. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well, brother. How are you tonight?
Dude, so good. Stoked to sit down and have a chat. It's going to be a good one.
Having me on.
Yeah, of course. And as always, as you guys know, Week 1 Wednesday is brought to you by We Knives. I think, yeah, perfect. It's brought to you by We Knives and great knives, great people. If you don't know why that's important, hold on to the end. I promise it's worth your time. We got Jamie in the comments. He'll be feeding us comments and whatnot. So if you guys want a shout out, you want to give us a pocket dump, whatever you want, make sure to do it in the comments and Jamie will send it over to me. And as always, we're going to start off with some new arrivals. So Jeremy, this is a little one-sided. I've got all the new knives.
Hey, man. You got it. You take it. I'll just
perfect. We're just going to wait for some people. Yeah, we're just going to wait for some people to show up. And yeah, we'll jump right in right here. I had a mouse. I didn't want to not a physical mouse, but a mouse.
Had a mouse running around wood shop.
Yeah. Well, there is a cat. The neighbor's cat actually did sneak in here. So if you guys hear some meowing, I can't control it because that cat will literally maul me. So it is what it is.
Vicious cat.
All right. So first new arrival, we've got the Kershaw link. So this is the Kershaw link. You guys know all about the link. Nice assisted knife made in the USA. Getting it in frame. There it is. Nice deep carry pocket clip. The cool thing about this particular link is that it has a 20 CV blade, and they're selling it for $79.99 on the website right now.
Dude, crush it.
Yeah, dude. So, a sweet assisted knife made in the USA, deep carry pocket clip with a 20 CV blade. Dude, $80. I don't think you can beat that. I literally don't think you can beat that.
That's a good price.
Good price. Next up in the new arrivals, we've got the Spyderco Hinderer. This is the Hinderer 4 in this beautiful teal color. Now, Jeremy, don't you have one of these with the Emerson wave on it?
I do, and I really love it. I had it for a long, long time. It's a good knife.
Nice. Do you have it in this this just incredible teal color?
No, it's not incredible teal. It is blue. I don't know the actual color. It's a darker blue. It's almost a bin blue, but a little dark.
Okay. I like it. And this new Hinderer, the thing that is new, obviously, is the scale color. It's got an S30V blade. It goes for $101 on the website, right around that price. The next one up, I actually think, Jeremy, you're going to dig this one. This one's pretty cool. This is, so you guys remember Artisan Cutlery came out with an auto bally last year. Artisan Cutlery owns CJRB. That's like their budget brand. So they gave the auto bally stuff to CJRB and... Oh, I messed it up.
Fail.
There it is.
It's great. It's always
my hand was in the road. So that was automatic action, and it's a bally as well. So you get a cool auto bally from CJRB with a little bottle opener. I honestly don't know if these holes do anything. I don't think they do. They don't look like they do. But probably the coolest bottle opener at any party. And this thing goes for $79.95, so considerably less expensive than that Artisan Cutlery auto bally. And less tools, but some cool factor, right?
And you'll be the coolest guy at the barbecue this summer, right?
Dude, hands down, right? Hands down.
Flip that thing, start going to town. Maybe that's like a Slim Jim stick, like distributing tool. The little holes, you could put those through and snap off a Slim Jim or something.
That's what it is. Or it's like a wire stripper, right?
Could be, right?
Perfect size to strip your Slim Jim. So strip your Slim Jim, open up a bottle of Coke, you're good to go.
Good to go, man.
And then finally, in new arrivals, some stuff that we're excited about. Giant Mouse just released a new Biblio. This is a new color. So it's a new color in the micarta. There's also kind of a grayish color, but this purple one kind of pops. I really like it, actually. So everything you love. Language. Yeah, exactly. Everything you love about the Biblio, but in kind of a neat color. And that goes on the website for $175. That's M390 blade, nice wire deep carry pocket clip, Vox Onso design, and micarta. You can't go wrong, right?
Man, we talked about that. We'll probably get into this later, but micarta is just such a good scale material.
Dude, such a good scale material.
It's such a good scale material. It's like my favorite.
Yeah, hands down my favorite.
It's great. It's fantastic. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I actually don't have any DIY stuff, but I'm sure you've got something, so we'll definitely get into it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So there's our new arrival. So hopefully you guys had a chance to show up. If you're not watching live, make sure to check the website for new arrivals. We always got sweet stuff coming in. And as a reminder, this show is brought to you by We Knives. Super awesome people, super awesome knives. They don't even pay me to say that. That's just the truth. I like those people. And if you don't know why that's important, hold on to the end. It's going to be good stuff. All right. So, Jeremy, we're talking knife mods today.
One of my favorite subjects.
I love it. So here's the big question, overarching question. Let's just get this one out of the road. Why mod your knife?
My two main reasons I like to mod knives is A, to kind of enhance the knife, right? So maybe the clip that came on it, you didn't love it. Put a little bit better clip so it fits your needs a little better. Didn't have the scales you want, throw some micarta, a little better grip, get that patina going. So just to kind of enhance and make it a better knife. And secondly, just to make it yours, right? Kind of give it a little personality, make it different so it's not just like every other version of that knife out there. Those are my two main reasons why I like to do it.
No, I like that. And especially when if you're running in circles with other knife guys, let's say you go to a blade show, right? And you pull out a knife everybody has, but you've done something to it. Now it's twice as special, right?
Well, and part 3 of that is a smaller thing, but I just like tinkering with stuff, right? So as a guy, it's just kind of a cool thing to take things apart, put them back together, try to make it yours, do a little modification, just fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that is one of the pitfalls, though, of modifying your knife is you can get lost in that sometimes, or if you lose one of those stinking little screws, then you have to reach out and you're like, I need this screw. It takes a while. But you know what? That's just the cost of living. There it is. Love it.
And I could have swore I Loctited that thing, but I don't know what happened.
Love it.
It happens.
We actually had somebody on Instagram at cworkman92. They actually have a pretty cool like EDC page. They're pretty new.
Okay.
You guys should go check. I think it's a gal that's running it, but either way, go check them out. cworkman92. She said that she had modded a Sachs Swiss Army knife cadet, and she'd turned the screwdriver into a pry bar. But then when she took her Benchmade apart to change out the scales, it took her over 2 hours because she's like, it was my first time.
Oh, buddy, if you've never changed out the scales on a bug out, and you're used to doing the scales on like a normal, like, spider code that just pop off and pop back on, and then you get into this spring in here. What do they call that spring in here?
The Axis lock, the Omega spring.
Omega spring. I was about to say Infinity spring, like we're talking Infinity Gauntlet. I'm going Avengers.
I love it. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, dude. But it's a little tricky. It's a little bit. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's a little bit finicky. If you haven't dealt with that kind of thing before, it can mess you up a little bit.
For sure. I know something with me, whenever I'm modifying a knife, we recently did a video so we have a series right now called How to Knife on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. We've got some cool mod videos. We got more coming. And we took a white mini bug out and we had to make it into a blackout. So we blacked this out, we dyed the scales, and I'm the one that took it apart, and I literally just took it apart and just let it like sit together. I just peeled it apart like a sandwich, and I was like, I'm just not gonna mess with that.
I'm just gonna leave that alone.
Exactly.
I don't want to. If I'm taking something apart and I'm like, ooh, that looks complicated, I'm gonna forget where that goes. I just take pictures as I go so I can reference that, totally not be able to put it back together and ruin it.
Dude, that's seriously perfect. The other thing that I actually do this with cars more than I do, or motorcycles more than I do with knives, but I'll even have like baggies like naming what things go to. Because sometimes like you start a project and you get interrupted and you may not touch it again for 2 days and then who knows, right?
Well, especially with knives, like you were saying, a lot of the screws are so tiny. I have a little work mat. I forgot the company that makes them, but it's just a little silicone work mat that has like little kind of modeled pockets, so to speak. So you have places, because some of those screws are so tiny. If they hit your workbench and roll off, and my garage is a mess. So if it rolls off in the garage, it's gone forever, right? So those little reservoirs, so to speak, kind of help you keep organized and keep you from losing your pieces.
That's awesome. We've actually been looking into putting something like that together, like on Blade HQ, where you could buy something that's maybe it's How to Knife, maybe it's Bench, maybe I don't know what it'll be, but those little pockets, those silicone mats are really cool. First time I saw them was in the gun community, and I was like, whoa, I need one of those.
They're great because when it gives you a way to stay organized, because all the different pockets you could put, screws for this part in this pocket, screws for this part, and then it also, because it has a lip, it keeps them from rolling off your workbench, and it's nice.
For sure. So Jamie's hit me up with a couple call outs. Broaden M asked what I think about the Watu. Jeremy, are you familiar with the Spyderco Watu, that like African designed
I don't think I've seen
knife.
that. And I'm a pretty big Spyderco guy. I can't believe I missed that one.
Yeah, it's pretty new, and it's based off of a traditional African design. So Broden. It's not, the Watu's not my jam. So it's a carbon fiber handle, kind of a thinner knife blade. But as far as something that's a modern traditional, that's unique because it's traditional, but not traditional to like the European or the North American continents, which is kind of cool. I really like it design-wise for that reason. It fits good in hand. It's a really smooth knife. Personally, not my materials, and so that's why I wouldn't go for it. But cool knife.
I might catch a little slack for this, but I'm not a huge carbon fiber guy.
I will tell you though, there's been a couple. CRKT did one recently. The CRKT. It was the Sketch, the Burnley Sketch. We had a Blade HQ exclusive, and the carbon fiber on it's like textured a little bit.
Is it like that shard carbon fiber almost? That has.
It was kind of like that, but it almost felt like a G10 almost. Not like super aggressive, but like it had grip, and I was like, whoa, I could get behind that. It was really nice.
That's my main problem. It's really, I don't know. It makes knives sound weird sometimes. Like it's got
I see what you're saying.
Kind of. I don't know. I'm on the fence with carbon fiber. I have a few carbon fiber knives, but they're not my favorites.
For sure. Well, speaking of knives and knives that you have, what knife do you have right now that you modified most recently, and what did you do to it?
Most recently was probably the old PM2, which I acid washed the. Is that focusing?
No, it's not focusing. There it is. Got it.
Ow. I acid washed the blade. I switched out the scales to some green canvas micarta, and then I flame bronzed the hardware on it. Cool. Now, I know I need to get a deep carry pocket clip, but, flame bronzing is a good way to cheaply kind of make your clip look a little better than the stock one without spending any money until you can throw one of the Lynch clips. Sometimes they're out of stock. They're hard to get.
No, that's for sure.
But this will get you by and at least make it look a little cooler than the kind of standard thing. But I love acid washing blades. It's probably my favorite way to finish a blade. So I do that on a lot of my knives. And, again, micarta scales, it's just, you can't, it's just so good, the micarta.
You're preaching to the choir on this one. I love it. Guys, let us know either live or down in the comments how you feel about micarta. It's so good.
I forgot. I also put this in there. It's got a little brass backspacer in it.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually, and this is something that I see a lot with Spydercos, is the Spyderco community, I feel like, mods their knives more than any other community. I know you have companies like Flytanium that makes a lot of scales and stuff. And then you mentioned Lynch clip. So I actually have a Lynch clip here, so you guys can see Lynch clip. You should probably already know these, but deep carry pocket clips for Spyderco's Benchmays, they do a bunch. They do come and go. That is very true. But at Blade HQ, we carry a ton of these.
They're great.
So when we get them, we have basically everything Casey's made. We have at Blade HQ.
They're good. That's the next thing I still want to do to this, even though I did flame bronzes. I just like a deep carry pocket clip. It's a funny story since we're talking about modding. This is a Flytanium backspacer, right? You were talking about Flytanium.
Yeah.
And when I put this on there, fits perfect. But I don't know what you call this, the lanyard barrel, I guess, the lanyard insert or inlet.
Yeah, the lanyard insert,
eyelet,
barrel, either one. Yeah.
Because of the way this backspacer goes in and that eyelet fits down in there, it had a rattle. Because there has to be some clearance, right? So it's metal on metal, but you have to have some clearance or it's not going to go in there. Yeah. And then if you ship it somewhere where it's hot, there might be some swelling and they couldn't get it in. So, so there's some tolerances there. So there's a little bit of rattle, and it drove me absolutely bananas. But if you're going to modify your knives, you got to think on the fly sometimes. So what I did is I put just a little bit of, the Teflon tape you wrap like plumbing with when you're putting plumbing together. Just one single layer of that around there and wedged it down in there, and it made it perfectly tight so that
That's awesome.
Because the rattle drove me crazy. I was like, I can't deal with this. I'm going to have to take that backspacer out. But now it's perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's actually, so you guys, before we got on, me and Jeremy were chatting before we went live, so we had everything ready, and my desk is a mess right now. Like, you guys just can't see it, and Jeremy was saying yours is similar, right? Yeah. Wires and knives and wires everywhere. But the camera's only showing this bit, and I feel like on Instagram you get that a lot, because that's where you see a lot of knife mods, right?
Right.
And you get that a lot where it's like, man, that looks beautiful, but then in reality it's like, oh, well, I had to do a little trick here, a little trick there to get it to look so good where I'd carry it, right?
I lost a little bit of hair in the process because you're just driving yourself crazy because you lost a screw or stripped something out. Or, I mean, yeah, it's knife modding is rewarding and I really enjoy doing it, but it definitely has its frustrations at times.
For sure.
There's actually copper plating later. I'll tell you all about that.
No, I want to hear this copper plating story. There's actually a really good book. The guy's name who wrote it is Matthew Crawford. The book is named Shop Class's Soulcraft. And he talks about this in the book. And he talks about this like when you mod things or you build things or you're working on, you know, a washing machine or your motorcycle or whatever, right? You have to kind of encounter the world, right? And it's like this process where it's like, well, it's not always just going to go the way you want. It's not like ordering something off of Amazon or from Target.com or whatever. There's process and there's figuring stuff out, right?
Yep.
And that's one thing I love about modding knives. You know, with this How to Knife series, talking about acid wash and stone washing, you know, we did this bug out blade. We did a couple blades, but this bug out blade I think turned out freaking awesome. But in the process, there were 2 or 3 other knives that we did that just did not turn out very good.
it's hit or miss, and that's why I usually, if I'm doing a new technique, I tend to like buy a beater knife or take one of my old beater knives and practice on that because then if you wreck it, you're like, no big deal. You're not doing it on like, you know, like a $400 Benchmade or some other kind of, you know, crazy expensive Hinderer or something. Speaking of the acid washing you guys did on that, you know, on this one, something I did a little different to finish it off that I really like because it just, the feel of it is fantastic is after I got done acid washing and tumbling it, I took some like real fine, like 800 grit sandpaper and just lightly sanded both sides down a little bit just to kind of shine up. Because you know how when a knife wears, the high points will get like shiny again. And man, it just, the velvety smooth texture it put on this blade is just phenomenal. I love it.
That's cool.
So
I'm gonna have to try that because we did a couple, and that's kind of the advantage when we do these how to knife videos is if I break a knife, it's like, okay, cool, like I'll just eat it, like Blade HQ will eat it, right? But it's not me personally having to eat that. Like,
exactly. Because that hurts.
No, it definitely hurts because I actually got a couple knives on the table, actually custom stuff that I did in the past that is horrible, and I'm going to show some of that off here in a minute. But
always good to show failures.
It's important, right?
It's important because man, that's how we learn.
Exactly. Like the first time you go, exactly. The first time that you go to take your knife apart, it's probably not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
No, most likely not.
But on the note of stone washing. Nathan Ellis 64 on Instagram, he said he tried to stonewash his bug out by dragging it behind his car for like 5 minutes back and forth on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you points for creativity, but I don't think that's going to work out.
He said it did nothing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But we've all been there, right? We've all been there like, oh, I want this look. I'm not quite sure how to do it. Let's figure it out.
You know, one of the, I think you guys showed it on your video. You can do the whole, just grab some rocks out of the backyard and put it in a Gatorade bottle or whatever. The other thing you can do if you want to do just one step up from that before you go to a tumbler, which I actually went to Harbor Freight and bought a tumbler because they're crazy cheap and they're good for a lot of stuff, removing rust from parts, polishing brass if you're into reloading, like, you know, whatever your thing is. And I think they're like $40 at Harbor Freight. They're not expensive.
Yeah, but if you guys haven't seen Jeremy's video on that, you guys should check his out too because it's really well done. Oh,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. But the other thing you could do is Harbor Freight just sells media for tumblers, right? Ceramic media. And it comes in a nice big plastic bottle. So you could literally go in there. I think it's like $5-10 for a thing of the ceramic media, dump about half of it out and throw your knife blade in there, put the lid back on, a little bit of soap and water, and shake it real good for about 5 minutes, and you're golden.
Yeah, exactly. And that was something when we did that How to Knife episode, that was something we considered. With How to Knife, we're always looking to do it as simple as possible just at your house, right? Which actually brings me to some of the other modifications that you have on the table. We've been wanting to do this Victorinox mod forever. Like I've had my Victorinox compact. I freaking love that knife, and I want my cart of scales, and I want to put a Phillips head screwdriver on it. But I want to do it so you guys watching can also do it, or at least you can see the process. It's a little more complicated than just, you know, pound it out with a hammer and call it good.
I told you I watched that guy do it, and they're not meant to be taken apart.
No, I mean that's the thing is you can totally do it, but like you need like a drill press and some patience and. Probably good if you've done something like that before, but Victorinox wise, what do you have on the table? Because you got some stuff with some pretty cool scales and stuff, right?
Yeah, I just brought up 2 tinkers. I actually am kind of a tinker junkie. I think every Swiss Army I have. Well, no, I do have a a cadet, but I think I have 1 or 2 cadets, and I think the other I have like 6 tinkers because I
Nice.
like the tinker. But let me get up here so we get focus. They're just have some custom scales on them. I am not a huge fan. This is like a brass with some kind of engraving kind of situation going. And this is just a titanium one, which is far lighter. But, I'm not a big fan of those red scales. And the good thing about these is they still have the cutouts for your toothpick and your tweezers. I've seen some aftermarket scales that when you put aftermarket scales on there, you lose your toothpick and tweezers.
Yeah,
So
and that's essential, I think, is to keep, because that's one reason I love the compact so much, is because all the little tools in it, right? And so, being able to keep those, I think, is really important.
And this one, actually, the tinker didn't come with it, but the scale, you could order it with the extra, you get the little pin. You ever seen the little pin?
Yeah, yeah. My compact has that.
It's tinker usually, but
it's perfect for digging out slivers.
Yeah. So he had that goes in here, right? I think this one's got it in here. You're talking about like a little needle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so this had a different. Oh, you mean is it a pin or a pen?
Like a writing utensil.
Oh, okay. I misheard you.
Yeah. Well, that's probably because I'm a little Southern, so sometimes stuff comes out a little twangy. But no, it's like a little. Hey, look, it's not for writing long stuff, but it's just a little. If you need to jot something down real quick, you can get it done.
For sure.
Just a little ballpoint pen. But yeah, these are great. I love them, and it just kind of makes it yours a little bit more. I just also, if anybody's ever watched my channel, I love anything brass, anything that's going to patina, and then your titanium options for if you want something lighter.
Now, I know with some of those, I know a lot of these guys, they kind of operate on Instagram. Did you buy the scales and then put them on yourself, or did you send this out and have them do it?
No. They send them to you. I ordered them via the web, and then they came to me. But you have to, the weird thing is, right? So, and I wasn't real crazy about this, but it seems like a lot of them work this way, at least the metal ones. The normal plastic scales just snap on, right? And you can just pop them off. With these, once they're on there, you're
not coming off?
No, because what you have to do is epoxy them on.
Oh, yeah, so it's permanent.
Yeah, and they send you a little tiny pouch of 2-part epoxy that you mix up, and you just put it on. There's a little carvings or some kind of CNC pieces of that for the the pins that are in here under, you've taken them apart.
Yep. And
it fits in there, and you 2-part epoxy and clamp it for, an hour or so. And I mean, it's solid as a rock, but if you ever want to change them, you're going to just need to buy a new tinker.
For sure.
Because they're not off.
And that's the thing, is because the way that those pins are designed and the way the plastic scales are designed, it's designed to have kind of a little bit of give and take when you pry it, so that it does pop off that kind of rounded head on the pin, right?
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't think they can machine that well in metal to function properly, right?
And it would probably be, if you change out the whole pin system, I'm sure you could make it removable. But like you said, like if you're just getting it to put on your stock, yeah.
And I mean, Swiss Army knives, one of the kind of great things about them is normally they're not terribly expensive knives,
Exactly.
So if you get one with brass and you like it and you decide you want something different, just buy another tinker and throw some separate scales on it and move on with your day.
Well, I mean, or buy the best one, which is the compact, but I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
I mean, that's debatable. I'm not going to argue. This is your show, so we're not going to. No, I actually do like the compact a lot. The tinker, the reason I got the tinker is because if I'm not mistaken, the compact still has a corkscrew.
It does, yes.
And we've had conversations about this, and I get it.
Yes.
But I fundamentally have a religious indifference with any knife that has a damn corkscrew on it, because it just drives me crazy. This has the Phillips head.
I know.
It's not the most useful Phillips head, if I'm being honest, because this is not.
Of course.
You want something long ways, right? You want something that comes out of the end so you can twist it like an actual screwdriver. So coming out this way, I mean, this is more of like a self-defense thing than it is really like, you know what I mean?
Right. Totally.
But I will say it's more useful than a corkscrew.
Well, this is why I like the corkscrew on the compact, is because it's got, right? It's got the little screwdriver, which, yes, you could use for your glasses, but man, I found 1,000,001 uses for this thing. Even the camera we're using here. So when we bring it to the shop to shoot here, we don't put it in battery. We actually plug it in.
Right.
So you have to remove the battery thing and whatever. And this little screwdriver does that, which is awesome.
Now, does that come with it, or is that something you have to buy?
No, it comes with it.
So it actually comes with the little
Exactly.
Nice.
The thing where the compact misses is this stupid parcel hook.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm saying I'm going to put that Phillips screwdriver on here, and then this will literally be the perfect Victorinox.
Does it have a pair of scissors?
Yep, it has scissors.
See,
yep.
That's the thing that bums me out about this, right? Is there's no scissors. So they give you a small knife. I'm not totally sold on why you need two knives. Like,
right.
Whatever. I do absolutely require the flathead because I use this for tripod mounts on cameras all the time. I mean,
all day
long. This is probably, and it's good for pry tasks and stuff. But a pair of scissors would be really great. And that's the one thing this doesn't have that I wish it did.
Yeah.
But then you have to go to the compact and you've got a parcel hook, which is useless.
Well, and this is the thing though, is we're talking about knife mods, right? So if you're looking for the perfect Victorinox, it's the compact because then you mod it and now it's yours. Yeah, I don't think you could mod a pair of scissors on that Tinker.
No, I don't think so. If once you guys put that out, if you successfully pull it off, you may have converted me over to the compact.
All right, man. It's going to happen. I like I said, it's that balance of like, I have all the tools to do it, but it definitely is more involved. So we'll figure it out.
I'll try to find that video I was telling you about with a guy that was, I think he professionally worked on Swiss Army knives, not for Swiss Army, but he did that as a job. And very, very detailed, like 30, 45 minute long video of him taking it all the way down and putting it all the way back together.
Awesome. I definitely send that over. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
So we got a couple other shout outs from people. Also, guys, if you guys want to have your pocket dump shout out, let us know. We'll probably be doing a pocket dump here in the next 5-10 minutes or so. But anyways, Iman said he wanted a shout out. So Iman, there's your shout out. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Let's see. We got some pocket dumps. I'm going to get to those. Don't worry. Adam Dunlop, thanks for tuning in. How's it going? Let's see. Aaron Witter said Jeremy's beard is worthy of Valhalla. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
James Bond wanted a shout out, so that's nice to know that James Bond is tuning in. It's always
he's
flattering.
got a busy schedule. He's over there doing all that espionage and whatnot. He's taking time to watch a little WoW. That's awesome.
I love it. Caden Hoagland, I think. He wanted a shout out, so there's a shout out for you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. It's a big deal. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's good.
Drew Uplegger says he's addicted to Animal Crossing. It's a new Nintendo Switch game, I'm pretty sure, on Nintendo Switch. He said, my island name is Blade HQ. That's awesome.
That is. That's next level.
And then, Peter McKinnon was in here. Hey, Pete, what's up, buddy? I don't know if he's still in, but he says, legend is Jeremy's beard is what shows up when you look up brass patina in a Google search.
I need to get a shirt that says patina because, man, I wear that out and people mess with me about it because I say it so much, but I just love patina.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, it's good to know Pete's in the comments too. We love Pete. He's
Pete's
a
good guy, man. That
guy's such a good guy.
And he's got such a great channel. I've learned so much from that guy's YouTube channel.
Dude, honestly, yeah, we love everything he puts out. If you guys haven't checked out, obviously, Peter McKinnon on YouTube, he's an awesome guy. Check out Pete's Pirate Life on Instagram, all good stuff.
Oh, yeah, and he's dropped some banger stuff with some patina.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, talk about patina. I was going to say, talk about patina.
He loves the patina.
So, kind of moving away from Swiss Army knives, Simyo 3-in-1. I don't know if that's how you say that, but it's an Instagram handle.
You're doing better than I would, bro.
Yeah, right. He says that he modifies Swiss Army knives, and he was doing it for a customer, I guess, and he messed up an expensive pair of scales. So he actually, for you, Jeremy, he was wondering, what's your most costly mistake when you've tried to modify a knife?
You know, honestly, I haven't had any too horrible. We'll go into my copper plating, just...
Oh, yeah, let's jump into that, man.
Complete and utter fail.
Yeah.
Just fail, right? Like fail. But normally, like I was saying earlier, I tend to, if I'm testing something out that I haven't done or I'm not comfortable with, I will usually do it on a cheap knife. So that way, if I totally botch it, I'm not out hundreds of dollars, maybe 20, 30 bucks at most, right? So I would say the most expensive one I have had is only about maybe 30, 40 bucks, maybe, if that.
Well, that's not bad.
No, that's not too bad. So, and a lot of them you can fix, right? So if you're anodizing and you mess up the color, you just re-dip it in the acid again, and it erases the color, and you go again. Flame bronzing, same way. You flame bronze and get over past your bronze color, and you get into those blues and purples that happen. You dip it in some acid, gets it all gone. You start from fresh. So a lot of them you can kind of fix your own stuff, unless you do this right here. Hold on. This was my attempt at copper plating.
So before we jump in this, I have to give a plug for How to Knife because we have the advantage of basically ruining a knife if we do it wrong, right? That's something that we try to do in every How to Knife is show people common mistakes and then also show you guys how to fix it as well. That's something we always try. Now, I'm really interested about this because we're actually looking at doing some copper plating for How to Knife. So tell us about this thing. What's going on here?
How you fix this is you throw it in the garbage.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess you could sandblast this probably. I don't have a sandblaster, but I guess you could sandblast it, or if you wanted to take the time to sand it down potentially. But like I said, I forgot what knife this is. It's a Spyderco.
Let's see, from the blade, is it a Tenacious?
It's
No, that's not a Tenacious.
Brother to the Tenacious, right? So in the Tenacious series, you have the Tenacious, which is this guy here.
Yeah.
Then you have, I think this is the Resilience, which is like the big dog.
The big one, yeah.
This was like the little brother.
Oh, what's the name of that knife?
What the name of it is. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. That's the Costa doing it live.
Right. This is not an expensive knife. So I'm not too worried about it. But so copper plating is a little complicated, right? It involves, from what I understand, pretty particular currents to plate properly. Plating slower is better than plating faster. There's a lot of good YouTube videos out there with people copper plating and showing good technique. But basically you have to have a power supply that has AC, DC, and it does all the converting for you, and you can control the amperage and voltage and whatnot. It's got a power and a negative, and you put one on a copper diode, put it down in a solution, and then you put the other end on this and dip. In theory, it's pretty simple, but I think, and I prepped the knife properly the way everybody said. I cleaned it good, made sure it was clean of any oils and defects and stuff. But I honestly don't know what I did wrong, because the guy that I watched his video, I followed it pretty much letter to letter, and his result looked way better than mine. I was growing copper barnacles on this thing, right? Like it wasn't plating smoothly at all. It was like clumping up, and it literally looked like copper barnacles. It was really, this is actually better than it was because I sanded some of it off. There was like,
that's crazy.
So I mean, I don't really know what I did other than I did it horribly. So this is a good thing to test on, right? So when I first started, I was testing on coins because it's a good, cheap thing to, try. And I was getting relatively good results with the coins. Not great, but relatively good. And I thought, okay, well, I'll bump it up, and just hard fail. Like,
and dude, that happens sometimes, right? Like the first time that I went into, I made some custom scales for a shaman a while back, right? And the first time I went in to do it, it was like, okay, cool. This is like 3 times harder than I thought, and I'm gonna have to work 3 times harder at it.
And and I even went above and beyond, because part of the thing is the solution moving, because apparently if the solution's still, so I even bought like a little fish pump.
Oh wow, yeah, you did the whole 9 yards.
Right, and I put the hose down in there so that it was bubbling, so that it was moving the water, the solution around, so it wasn't sitting in still water. I mean, I did all the things that I thought I could, and I used, and I'm sure if you guys are going to do it, you'll get into this. There's like I think it's root killer that you use is what a lot of people recommend, strangely enough, because it's got the culprit copper. It's been a few months since I've failed this. You're bringing up old, harsh, bad wounds.
Sorry to drudge this up, man. Sorry to drudge it up.
Nightmare fuel here, but I think it's copper sulfate that you need in the solution.
And it's in like fertilizer or weed killer or something like that, right?
It's like a root destroyer or root killer that you buy, and it's these blue crystals. And you put those in a solution, and then you put a copper diode down in it with a positive, if I'm remembering correctly, on it. So, I mean, I did all the things. I did all the things that I thought were going to create a good copper plating. Hard fail. And I kept saying I was going to go back to it and experiment more until I got it right. In life, 3 kids, busy. I just haven't had a chance to go back down and revisit my failure. But
totally.
I will beat this. I will. It might take me 4 or 5 more knives, but I'll beat it.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think we're going to be doing this. Let us know in the comments if you guys want to know. We're actually looking at doing copper plating and nickel plating on knives.
So cool.
So if you guys want to know, if you guys want to see it, put it in the comments, and we'll make it happen. And then we'll get Jeremy in on it too. So we'll figure it out together.
Man, I'm telling you, it needs to be beaten now. Now it is like a challenge, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
This has got to be beaten. I'll get my Valhalla card revoked, right?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right, so we're at the point where we're gonna do a couple pocket checks. Jeremy, you're the guest, so what are you carrying today?
I mean, I'm walking around the house, so there's
Right.
not a lot. So I know people are gonna be like, "Man, in your EDC video, you had all this stuff," and well, I'm at home, so calm down.
Right.
But got a Dapper.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Hold on.
There it is.
And man, the micarta on this is patina. Here we go with the patina. Is patinaing so patinaing? Is that a word? Patinaing?
It is now.
What's the past tense of?
I mean,
patina.
all words are just made up anyway, so we're just gonna say patini-ing. Patina. Yeah, that sounds right. Patini-ing.
The patina is happening quicker on these scales than on other ones I've had, and I love it. I mean, it
Cool.
really is getting worked in really nice. I don't know if you've done a video or you guys have showed this, but it's got another brass backspacer wire clip. I love this little thing, and I am not a huge fan of small knives, but Jasper is the king of making a small knife feel great in your hand. Like,
Yep.
if you're going to get a small knife, get a Voxness design, right? Like,
Yep.
that guy,
Every time.
he's the king. Love this knife. It's a great, great little knife. So I got that guy. What else? What else is in here? AirPods. Olight. And a Best Man,
Ooh.
Lion Steel Best Man.
Yeah. How's the walk and talk on that thing?
Dude, it's so good. Hold on. Is it picking it up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Little, what do they call it? ASMR?
Yeah, a little ASMR. Little knife ASMR.
You can hear the walk and talk. Why do they whisper in those videos?
Dude.
What is with that? It weirds me out.
It's not my thing, but people really dig that stuff.
I get super uncomfortable every time there's like somebody whispering. I'm like, stop whispering. You're making me freaked out. But yeah, I love this thing. Modern, materials and kind of a traditional kind of look. Slip joint. I like to carry a slip joint along with one of these because I've talked about it before. Sometimes if you're out in public or something and it's silly. Knives are tools, but people get weird sometimes, and it's just easier sometimes just to have a little slip joint because nobody gets offended by that, right? Nobody
Totally.
gets triggered. Nobody gets freaked out. Plus, they look dope, right? I mean, that's a good looking little, and that's got the micarta. The weird thing is this micarta is a very different kind of micarta than on the Dapper, right?
Yeah, and that's all micarta is not created equally, right? And so the micarta on that Best Man, it's almost got like an epoxy on it, right? So you don't really get to the micarta, you don't really feel it too much. But on the Dapper, that's just like a raw, like boom micarta, right?
Exactly. This, I don't know that it will patina, or if it does, it's probably going to take a very long time to wear through that kind of. I don't know if there's like a sealant on there or if it's I don't know what it is, but it's still very, very nice and I love it. But cool. Oh, I forgot I always have this in my back pocket.
There you go.
Little Mighty Hanks.
It won't focus, but it's there. Oh, there it is. Got it.
This was Best Damn EDC. My good buddy Taylor. He sent this to me. He did a limited run of those. And this thing has a microfiber for cleaning glasses. It's the greatest thing.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome,
man. Not a ton of stuff, but enough. I'm at home, so it's
Dude,
not.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's more than I have in my pockets leaving the house. So yeah, no, you did good. You did good.
The reason I have this in my pocket is I was actually normally I would not have this in my pocket, but I was actually looking for something earlier under couches and stuff. One of the kids had dropped something, and I was looking under couches and stuff, so I just happened to have this in my pocket.
Dude, that's why I always have a light. It comes in handy almost daily. I'm using my pocket light for something. You know what I mean? Almost daily.
Guaranteed. People always, what do you need a flashlight for? I'm like, because the light on your phone is horrible for looking for stuff.
It
doesn't have a good throw.
Well, and here's the thing. Honestly, like when I'm not working, like when I'm not like doing stuff for Blade HQ or whatever, like I don't carry a cell phone ever. Like when I go on a week-long motorcycle trip, no cell phone. Like when I started at Blade HQ a few years ago, that was the first cell phone I ever had. And so I just don't carry them very often.
Dude, you are a rare specimen, okay? Because most people are attached to those things. Like, well, that's the other thing, obviously, that I have in mind, but I didn't.
Yeah, of course.
I think everybody's got that in their pocket, but.
Yeah. I remember the first time me and Taylor met up, we'd been talking back and forth a little bit, but it was at Blade Show last year, I believe. And it was the first time that we had met up, and we got to talking because he's a big tech guy.
Oh yeah,
he's had a cell phone since cell phones were a thing. And
he was in the tech world.
He was doing tech
and stuff, right?
Exactly. And so when I told him, I was like, he was like looking at my phone. He's like, "Oh, nice phone, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, it's my first phone. It's pretty good." And he's like, "This is your first phone?"
He's like, "Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean?"
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple other pocket dumps here in the comments. Let's see, we got Iman, who we gave a shout out earlier. He said he was carrying a ProTech Whiskers. That's awesome. We love the ProTech Whiskers. BZ is carrying a Para 3 lightweight and a Dragonfly. So there's another Spyderco man for you.
I love Spyderco.
Yeah, man. Ray Gatlin says Bug Out in Ranger Green is on its way from Blade HQ. So it's not what's currently in its pocket, but I'm assuming it will make its way to his pocket very shortly.
Very nice.
Let's see. Francisco Ilescas says he's got a Blade HQ exclusive Shaman with CPM M4, now with custom gray color scales, best knife ever, but missing a Phillips screwdriver as well. I mean, he's not wrong, but it is. I love that Shaman, and it's cool. I've been really stoked to see these M4 knives getting more mods, like these G10, natural G10s. You got guys dyeing them. You got guys changing out the scales. We had Nick Shabazz on recently, and he had modded his M4 Shaman with a different set of scales. So I love seeing that in the community. It's awesome. Caleb Despirito said this is his first time watching live, and he's carrying his Bowie blank that he made a handle for. That's super rad. That's on, man.
Better.
Yeah, that's super rad.
That makes it even cooler.
Exactly.
Even if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Actually, so I'll show what's in my pocket, guys, and then I'm going to show you guys some not perfect made stuff.
Yeah, I want to see this. You mentioned this earlier. I'm curious to see.
All right, so in my pocket,
about my failures.
Oh, it will. Trust me, it will. So in my pocket tonight, I've got the Hogue, the micro switch from Hogue. I love this knife. This is the knife that I went hitchhiking with. I slept in the pipe with. If you guys haven't seen the video, go check it out. I really, really love this knife. It finds my way into the pocket really often.
Is that a little glass breaker on into that?
Funny story. So we took it out for some testing. You can see it's smashed. That's smashed from me just using it as a hammer, but I thought it might be a glass breaker. So I went to the junkyard. And I paid the dude. I says, here's your, I think it was like $5 to break a window, right? I was like, here's $5, and I took this thing and I slammed it against a couple windows, and I was like, nope, not a glass breaker.
No, not a glass breaker. I think I just had a complete brain fart. The most popular out the front knives ever.
Microtech.
Duh. Yeah, I have one. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do a glass break really well. It's got that little ball bearing in it, and man, that thing it taps and it breaks. It does. They do it very well.
They do. I have some knives with glass breakers where they're almost sharp, right? So coming in and out of your pocket, you'll scratch yourself on it. Microtech, those ball ones are awesome.
They're rounded, they don't snag, they don't tear stuff, and they work really, really well.
Exactly. So to finish out my pocket dump, as always, I've got my Big Idea Designs Pete Pirate Life. It's going to focus. Boom.
Pete. It's got some Pete pen right there, buddy.
It's got some patina on it, so I'm in good company with Jeremy here. And then, of course, I've got my Phoenix and I've got my Compact. So those are the normal. You guys know those ones.
See, all right. You were matched up with me pretty well. You had about the same, minus the
about
Hank.
The same.
You need one of these Hanks with the glasses, man. I'm telling you.
Dude, I know. I'm like a little jealous. I need to find one of those. It's all secondhand now at this point.
It is the magic cloth of happiness, man. I don't know what kind of material they make that thing out of, but it cleans glasses better than any microfiber cloth I've ever had. I don't know why.
I heard rumor it comes from unicorn tails. I mean, I don't know if that's the truth, but that's what I've heard. So
they're hard to catch, but man,
they are
good.
Hard to catch.
They're hard to catch.
All right, so
don't want Peter here. You're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And then just a final couple shout outs before we jump in to kind of the second half here. JLink06 has a Victorinox Super Tinker, a Leatherman Rebar, a Kershaw Atmos, and an Olight i3T EOS. Dude, those are some pockets. He's ready for anything there.
That's a prepared man right there.
Yes, it is. Famous Hydra. Hey, how's it going, Famous Hydra? We met Famous Hydra when me and Jamie did a video where we did pocket checks on the way home from California, coming home from Cold Steel. Oh, awesome. Famous Hydra was at the California meetup. Like, coolest dude ever. Yeah, he's just a really awesome guy. And so he's been trying to give Jamie a nickname. So it's Quarantine King Jamie. So we need to make that stick.
Quarantine King. Make a shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And then he said, can you tell Jeremy I want to customize my Tenacious after watching his stonewashing video? So, Jeremy, Famous, you're in good company if Famous Hydra's watching your stuff.
That is awesome, man. That's good. I'm glad, man. Do it. It's easy to do. It's inexpensive to do, and I think it adds a lot of character. And from what I understand, some rust resistance.
Yeah, a little bit of rust resistance
because it adds an oxide layer on there. So
exactly. Oh, can you guys hear the cat? The cat's going off. So, like I said, we might hear cats while we're in here. It's just at home live. This is what we get.
Hey, man.
So on the note of making stuff, I can't remember who it was that he said he had. It was Caleb Despirito. He said he had that buoy blank that he put a handle on. So me and some buddies, I mean, this is years ago. This is like 6-7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. So me and some buddies were having some fun just making knives, and we were just kind of just screwing around. And I had some wood laying around, and I had some old saw blades laying around. So we just kind of messed around, right? Mm-hmm. And so on the far end of knife modifications, I had some of these laying around in my work drawer. So we were making these, and guys, I mean, like I said, this has been sitting in a drawer for I don't know how many years, but I had to pull them out and show them off.
I mean, hey, that's fine, man. It's better than my copper plating.
And we made some little leather sheaths for them. These are just, I'm sure this is not a very, you can see the handle's not very well done, but we did what we could. But the knife mod one that from this time period when we were just kind of screwing around, it's broken, so I can't open it. But I tried to make an Opie nail. So you see that?
He's like, Opie nail, that's a simple design. I can wing one of those out.
Nope, not at all.
He goes, nope, sure not. Wrong answer.
This is a saw blade here, and then this is like some brass hardware for plumbing, right? So I put that on there, and then I cut. You can see I cut the right. So I cut the slot there for the knife blade to come through.
You're in the right direction, though, right?
Yeah, and the problem is that it got shifted and now it's stuck, so I can't open the blade. But the problem is that the blade ended up being too narrow for the ring to hold it in place, so it would rattle, right? But anyways, so there's some kind of fun, definitely failed knife making that I've done in the past.
Hey man, there was a lot of ingenuity that went into that. There's a lot of moving parts. Props.
I'm not gonna lie, I still am proud of this, even though it didn't work, because like I was just at Home Depot and I was like, okay, how do I make this work? And I literally just walked up and down every single aisle, kind of like on a different level, but kind of like how you were like, okay, how do I get this backspacer to work with this barrel? Like, I'm gonna wrap it in some tape. Like I was just walking around, I was like, okay, what am I gonna use? And I found everything I needed.
Hey man, sometimes you just got to do that. Back in the day, long years and years ago, people didn't have people to fix stuff for them. They just had to use their brain and ingenuity to figure crap out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I spent plenty of summer out on the pig farm and out on the hay ranch that I know all about that stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to make it work.
Yeah. Town's 50, 60 miles away. Yeah, you just got to make it work.
Got to make it work. Might not be pretty, but it works.
Exactly.
That dog will
hunt. No, we touched a little bit. Have you done any RIT dyeing? Have you dyed any G10 or anything like that?
That is one modification that I have not tried.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it with this mini bug out, but we recently, a while ago, me and Ben sat down and we did some RIT dyeing, and then we did a kind of a better how to knife video of it, kind of a cleaner how to knife. So this was a white mini bug out, and we made it a mini blackout, and then this was natural G10, and we kind of made it like this really cool blurple. This is a little mini Kaiser beg lighter. Mini Doman. Yeah, mini Doman.
It holds really well. I mean, that's a nice, deep, saturated color. Yeah,
and this was like, I think it was like 30 seconds in the mixture or something like that. You can see it's got the natural G10 backspacer. We left that there to kind of mark like, oh, hey, this was a natural G10 knife at one point.
Yeah, I like it.
But when we're talking knife modifications, I think one of the easiest things you can do, aside from adding parts, right? So you can go to Flytanium and you can get yourself, like a titanium peelar scale. You can get yourself a titanium bug out scale, mini or regular. The next easiest thing you can do besides just adding something is just dyeing your stuff. You know, it's so simple, so easy.
Old school Skyline.
I was gonna say, yeah, is that a Flytanium modded out Skyline?
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
Skylines are not as popular as they once were, but I still say they're a good little inexpensive everyday carry. They're good knives, but Flytanium scales, they're great.
Yep. Yeah, we had a guy on Instagram. Let's see, who was it? I missed it. Nope, it was Mr. Bigbly, Mr. B Quigley. I don't know how it is. I can't read my own handwriting. But he said he had same thing. He had a Skyline Flytanium scales, and he put bronze washers in it, which I think would actually fix a lot of the issues people had with those. Would be a set of bronze washers. You know,
I don't know if this is the one that you guys sell that's a Damascus, and a lot of people said they didn't like the action. They couldn't flip it. They couldn't flick it with their finger without some wrist. But I mean, I'm not flipping my wrist and mine. Now, I mean, I took it apart and I tuned it up a little bit. You know, I cleaned the washers, I oiled it and did all the things, but I mean, pops out fine. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that about Skyline. Maybe I just got a good one.
No, and I think that's it. I think there was a run of those Skylines where the pivots were just a little tight. So if you weren't willing to tune them a little bit, you weren't going to get a good out of the box action.
Well, you know, and that's another thing. Speaking of knife modification, I do to almost every knife I get. I tune them. I mean, there's a few. This knife I haven't yet. This Dapper came dead center. Most of my Civivi knives I've gotten have amazingly came just right on the money. But I generally take them apart and tune them. Even if the blade centering is good, sometimes there's just like grit in the washers from the manufacturing process and stuff. And if you take it out and clean all that out and put a nice little light coat of lube in there, it just smooths a lot of knives out a lot.
Yep,
just doing that.
For sure. And here's the thing though, is I won't lie. Like I know a lot of guys will do this. They'll get a knife, they'll tune it, and then it's like, okay, cool. Like it's good. For me personally, I'm just like, nah, man, I'm not taking a knife apart unless I absolutely have to.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I get one and it's buttery smooth and it's centered and stuff, I don't necessarily do it. But most of them, when I get them, I'm like, that could be smoother.
For sure.
Or I'm going to put scales on it anyway. So while I'm in there, I might as well, get in there and clean everything out and give it a little tuning.
And that's what I find is I'm more and more buying knives to buy them because I like the blade steel or I like the handle material or whatever. Right. And then I'm doing something else to them. So I end up taking apart a lot of my knives now.
It happens.
For sure.
Some guys are tinkerers.
Well, and speaking of tinkerers, we can't talk about knife modification without talking about Hinderer. Oh. And so this one here, this is a XM18. This is part of that vintage series that he's doing. So you kind of get this really neat greened out titanium frame lock side, the really cool wood side here.
What kind of blade shape is that? Like some kind of modified Tonto or something?
Yeah, this is the Sponto blade shape.
Man, that looks good. Taylor, going back to Best Damn EDC, he just bought a couple of those, and man, that's a nice looking knife.
Yeah,
so
and the thing is it's this one's pretty, and it's it's got a little bit more like pop and flair to it. But this thing is all Hinderers. They are built to just beat to death.
He said it's one of his favorite knives he's gotten lately. He loves those things.
That's saying a lot because that dude goes through a lot of knives.
Dude, he's got. I won't even get into it because he'll be like, "You were talking crap again." No, I'm not talking bad about him. He needs an intervention with his knife buying, but I'm not going to talk bad about him.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I love it.
But this is the thing with Hinderer that's really cool is not only does Hinderer do these really neat builds and designs. I mean, you can get any of his patterns, in every color under the sun, a bunch of different blade shapes, all of that. He also, from Rick Hinderer, he actually makes like a ton of aftermarket. I just left him in the packaging, but I didn't want to lose him. But he makes a ton of these little aftermarket pieces and parts, even just hardware, different colors.
Those first scales, were those like fish scale looking scales? What was that?
Here, I'm not scared to pull this one out because it's not like little pieces like these other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man, that's nice.
So
that's right up my alley right there, buddy. I like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is an anode titanium. I'm 99% sure this is an anode titanium.
Which won't patina, but that's okay. But it still looks really good.
It'll get wear on it though, right? Like you'll get those edges wearing off and stuff.
A little shine coming through.
But yeah, so this is kind of a cool thing about Hinderer knives. Not only are they like hardcore knives that are actually made to use, but from Rick himself, you can just get like tons of parts that were designed and machined specifically for your knife, which I think is really cool. It short of like Flytanium, right? Which, well, Flytanium doesn't even make a full knife. So really, Rick Hinderer is one of the few doing this thing where he's making the knife and he's making all of the really neat accessories to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super cool. And like I said, cool stuff. If Taylor gives it high praise, it's got to be pretty good because that guy's gone through a lot of knives. So if he says it's good, and he said it's just the feel of the knife. He's like, man, it just feels like a hard use knife. Like
it does.
Feels like you could go to work with this thing and not have to worry about it breaking on you. Yeah,
if I remember right, Rick's background, he's done some construction and stuff, but he was a fireman, I believe, for quite a few years.
Right.
So, you come from that construction fireman background, like you want tools that you can trust, and that's what he does. That's what he makes.
There's a place for pretty knives and a place for workers, and sometimes you just need a good worker.
Yep, that's very true. That's very true.
And sometimes you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and that's the best, right? That's what I shoot for, right? I shoot for a knife that looks good and that will get the job done.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right, so we are getting ready. We're getting ready to kind of wind down. Do you have anything else, Jeremy, that you want to show off or you want to talk about?
I think we should cover flame bronzing because I think that is one of the easiest, cheapest, least dangerous. Well, I shouldn't say least dangerous because you are working with fire. So I guess like physically it could be dangerous, but like as far as dangerous in ruining something, you got a pretty low chance of ruining it because you can just remove it and start over. And I think it's just a really cool way to just change your clip up real quick. If maybe your budget's tight because you just spent a bunch of money on a Spyderco, you don't have money to put any mods into it. Take the clip off, do a little flame bronzing on it, and which it makes it look. Sorry, I gotta keep trying to get up in this camera so you guys can see. Just gives it that kind of cool bronze look. I dig it.
Yeah. I like it a lot. Now, with this one, did you use? I know guys will just use kind of like a torch, or did you just use your stove?
No, I just use a propane torch. I have a propane torch out in the garage for myriad of things that. I mean, I think all guys need a torch, right? If you don't have a torch, you should just go buy one at Home Depot. They're cheap. But, and the funny thing with this one, I got a different result on with the Spyderco clips because usually the Spyderco clips are kind of shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, because I was messing with some ano and stuff, I had the acid bath out. So I acid dipped it before I flame bronzed it, and it produced a little bit of a different finish, which I kind of liked better. So
that's cool.
Maybe acid wash them before you flame bronze them. But it's super simple. And the other thing that I did to one is I kind of put this hammered. I don't know if is that coming through? Can you see?
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that's coming through. Yeah.
And that's super easy to do. It's just a Dremel, right? You take a Dremel with one of those little rounded sander bits and you just until you just stipple it so that it looks kind of hammered. And it's free. Like it doesn't cost you anything to do that. So if your budget's tight and you just want to do a little customization, I did it to the pivot point also. Took them out.
Cool.
Put the little hammered look into them, flame bronzed them. The one thing about flame bronzing, and you could probably see from this, it does wear off relatively quick. Can you see me using it? It's not really bronze up here anymore.
Yeah.
But it's really simple to redo. It's 5 minutes and it's back to bronze again. So I don't know, just something I thought we should cover because it is really cheap and easy for pretty much anybody to try.
No, I like that. And I think that's the thing is you can run the gamut on customizing or modding your knife, right? It's like you could buy just a clip and put a clip on, or you can, fire bronze what you already have.
Yep.
All the way up to you can buy a custom pair of titanium scales, right? That was made specifically for you with your own indentation on it and spend, a couple hundred more than your knife on a set of scales.
Right.
That's something that I love is that whatever area you want to play, there's somewhere you can play.
Right. And also, huge, like you said, huge degree of ease to difficult and free basically to kind of expensive. I got a little, when I started anoing, I bought the power supply that I told you about that I tried to use for my copper plating also. But you guys showed a super economical way of doing that with just 9-volt batteries.
Yeah, it worked. It worked like a dream too, man. We were able to run almost all the colors just using 9 volts.
Yeah, and that's great. That's cheap and easy. That's accessible to like pretty much anybody. And I've seen guys, you can get really creative too with modding. I've seen some guys do some really creative stuff with acid washing and multi-layered acid washing with different effects and splatter patterns, and putting like their logo, like getting a vinyl sticker of their logo made, and then light acid washing and putting the logo sticker on, then heavy acid washing, so you got this two-tone effect with their logo or their whatever on it. And you can get really creative and do some really cool stuff, and it's always better if you do it yourself.
No, I agree. And the thing that I don't know, but I'm assuming this is the same for you, because everybody I talk to, it's the same. Even if it's just heat bronzing your pocket clip, right? Even if it's just that, and it took you 5 minutes,
right?
When you put that on there, you're like, yeah, I did something. You know what I mean?
Like,
you get like this sense of pride,
right?
Yeah.
It's like, as guys these days, we're not out necessarily like hunting and gathering the way we used to, and I think there's still part of us that like, fire. I want to make something and do something. So it feels good, and even in a small. I know that's a small way to do it, but it feels good to do stuff yourself. I like. No,
I completely agree.
The same reason I like to build furniture. It's just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Yeah, I actually just got done building a table, so I'm right on that level.
It's a different it's a different part of your brain that kicks on when you're out there doing that, right? Like all the crap and the social media and the stress and all the things, you don't think about it when you're out there like working with your hands, and you can kind of get away from it all for a while. So it's therapeutic.
And that's how I justify motorcycle purchases. They're therapy, right? It's like
to your wife, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna buy this clapped out '78 Honda, right? That hasn't ran in 20 years, but that's okay because I'm gonna stay sane.
But it's gonna make me not punch people. So
exactly, it's good. Worth it. Worth it everywhere.
It's worth a little bit of money. It's good.
Exactly. Right on, man. Well, so at the end of these things, we usually do a giveaway. So hold on, Jeremy, because I'm going to do this giveaway thing, and then we'll polish up. So as you guys know, as I said at the beginning, sponsored by We Knives. These guys are awesome. You guys even heard Jeremy. I didn't even tell him to say anything about Civivi, but you even heard him say when he gets his Civivi knives, those things are dang near perfect out of the box. They're just so good.
And that element and the action for the price is so ridiculous. I have to always bring it up because it's so ridiculous.
It's so good. So as you guys know, We Knife sponsors these things, and they don't tell us what to say. They don't tell us what to do. What they do is they give us a knife to give away to you guys. And today we are giving away the We Knife Roxy. So we've got one of the Roxy variations. This is one of the bigger ones. It's got this cool tiger stripe anodization. I mean, talk about like modding or like having something that looks kind of custom. We does such an incredible job with so many of their fits and finishes that it's just so this Roxy's a really cool one. But we're giving this thing away. Jamie will be putting a link in the live chat. He'll be putting a link in the description. If you're watching this in time, you can click over, get a chance to win. We'll announce the winner very soon. And good luck to everybody out there that's trying. If you're not seeing it, hit refresh. You might see it. And Jeremy, I wanted to give you a huge thank you for being on. This has been a blast talking.
Thank you so much for having me on. I hope I didn't bore you with running my mouth too much. But
no, not at all, dude. This has been a blast.
I had a good time, man. It was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
For sure. And if you guys haven't, make sure to check out Jeremy's channel on YouTube. Where can they find you, Jeremy? All the places. Where can they find you?
Pretty much Jeremy Siers everywhere. Jeremy Siers on YouTube, Jeremy Siers on Instagram. I do have a Jeremy Siers After Hours second channel on YouTube that does kind of non-advertiser friendly content like cigars and stuff like that. But pretty much just Jeremy Siers on everything. That's the easiest way.
There you go, guys. Make sure to check him out. He's an awesome guy. He does some cool stuff with knives from time to time as well, so make sure to keep an eye on his channel. And thank you guys for following along. Thank you for being here live. If you're not live, thanks for tuning in. Let us know about your knife modifications. Let us know success stories, horror stories, whatever it may be. We love hearing about them. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.